Welcome to North Dakota After Dark. It is, as we like to say, After Dark, and we are in North Dakota, all four of us. So nice to have 100% North Dakota representation. We are very pleased to welcome Manager Extraordinaire Jeremy Swanson to the program this evening. Jeremy is a two-time, long-time youth hockey manager and is going to tell us all about how to successfully accomplish that goal. Jeremy, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good to be here. I have come bearing gifts, although you're not physically holding them. They are on my desk. And you may find them in your mailbox soon.
Okay.
I was coming in hot tonight from Santa's workshop. I did not have time to deliver them, let alone I did not have a pass to go on the north end.
Oh, yeah.
So that requires.
I was gonna say you gotta call ahead. Otherwise I can't guarantee your safety.
Yeah, but I'll show you your gifts. This is a flannel koozie for Kyle. Oh, this is a flannel koozie for Corey.
I just got mine in the mail from my brother-in-law.
And this green and black one, which Kyle does not have, is for Kyle. And
Yes.
I could not find one classy enough for the apparel that you normally find Kelly Moreland in. However, I did find kind of a trendy
Ooh.
A zip-on.
with an aqua zipper.
That
So,
would be Mom Island approved.
A very
Yeah.
feminine cut. Well done.
Yes.
I am
And
excited.
since I am the manager of our team and also the organizer of safety meetings for parents prior to game time, I got myself a life preserver
Love it.
because there
Safety
were no other cool ones left. So
Safety first, always.
yes.
Two
And,
episodes in a row with Icewind.
Yes, and the beverage that you'll find in your koozie is from Icewind Brewing, frothy headed minty muggins. It is a mint stout.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought I dated that girl in college, but I guess not.
Yeah,
I love an
possible.
elf shout out. It's a fabulous movie.
Yeah, not to be confused with a muggle, which is a non-magic person.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So for those of you listening, not watching, of course, Jeremy, would you like to describe what these koozies look like? Because and the fact that Kyle mentioned it just last episode, we were had our first Icewind beer on the podcast, and they're fantastic. So I'm kind of excited about getting another one.
Yes, well, for those that are not able to see what we're talking about, they are flannel jackets with a flat bottom, sturdy bottom, as well as arms that go down into the pockets of the flannel.
It's gorgeous.
Kelly has a much more trendy, kind of hip, black and gray, bluish camouflage jacket with a nice aqua zipper to highlight. It's a
Love it.
little bit more feminine, but also tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And mine is a life preserver, a life jacket.
Yeah.
Because you need
Jeremy,
those in the
just
wintertime.
Painting a picture.
I am going to make a quick executive decision, and I hope Kelly and Corey don't mind, but I'm going to confirm that Jeremy has pushed Matt out of the #1 top guest overall slot. It's now Jeremy and then
Totally.
blank below him.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
And did not bring gifts.
Has nobody else brought you gifts?
No.
Well, to kind of put it on an even playing field, it is Christmas time, and I'm probably your first guest this close to Christmas. Probably the guest closest to actual Christmas Day.
That is true.
Very, very
Yes.
fair.
Don't stick up for Matt Moreland, though. He could have brought a gift. He just never does.
You guys live in the same house, roommates.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, he could do better. He could be better.
You should tell them that. Let them know.
As Michelle Obama once said, be better.
That's right.
Right? I'm sorry to quote him or her. But zing.
Sing.
Oh boy.
Make a segue. I will tell a very quick hockey-related Christmas story. We had our final practice this evening before the Christmas break. Had brought some Christmas cookies for the kids that I gave to them after practice. Walked them around the room, and because they're kids, the listening only extends one person on either side of you. So I repeated this several times. Handed out a couple. Hey, whose birthday is it? I'm like, well, they're for Christmas, so I guess Jesus. Oh, okay. Repeat, repeat, repeat. A couple kids down the line. Whose birthday is it? Jesus. I thought his birthday was on Easter. And so I'm bringing a priest next time.
Nice. Well, Kyle, I can also share a heartwarming Christmas story of my own. Driving my daughter to school this morning, I was driving along and I looked out the window, and it's the time of year where the city has begun the floods of the ODRs. And I looked at my daughter and I said, "You do understand that this is a magical time of year?" And she says, "I know, Christmas." I said, "Yeah, Christmas is important, honey, but this is a more magical time of the year." And she goes, "Why? Why? Because of Santa?" I said, "No, a much more magical person is going to come out from its hibernation." I said, "At this time of year, when the sun is just about to rise, you'll oft see a bald, bearded man standing outside with a hose, laying layer upon layer of joy and water to the ODRs to give us a fresh place to skate. All the little good boys and girls know when Danny Mardo comes out to flood the ODRs, it's Christmas time in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and the good little boys and girls can come out and see his jolly efforts on the day." And then she said, "Well, what happens if you're naughty?" And then I said, "You move to East Grand Forks."
That's right.
Nailed it.
That's right. You really do.
So I really,
Pure magic.
Yeah.
so my horrible plan is, since I impromptu came up with this joke to my daughter, I think what I'm going to do is before this is live, I'm going to sit down and record a video of me fake reading the Christmas story of Danny making ODRs to my children and then send him a video of it.
You
I
should
love it.
put it on our Instagram account.
There we go.
Here we go.
Beautiful. Magical.
Kelly,
Love
do you
it.
also have an anecdote that keeps Jeremy from talking?
No, I'm
Okay.
I'm open to everything. Let's just let's get after it.
So the legend of Jeremy is this. 2 years ago, our sons played on the same hockey team. We were without a manager, and due to some arm twisting, Jeremy and I were sort of simultaneously tasked with becoming the manager of our team, much to some, there's some talk about it. Usually that position is held by a mom. And I have to say, a year and a half into it, I've since been demoted to coach, but Jeremy continues. It's really a high organization, probably the best manager/managers Grand Forks has seen. With no apologies to my neighbor, Andrea Reynolds. So, Jeremy, could you tell us all about your journey as a manager and how that has culminated in you not booking only a brewery, but also a distillery as a destination this year?
Well, yeah, that was going to be the big thing I was going to announce is kind of one of my claims to fame.
We are the stars of the show, not you, Jeremy. We get the good life.
You're right. It's your show.
Know your place.
It's going to be that kind of show. Okay.
It's going to be that kind of show.
Well, yeah. So Kyle approached me and said, "Hey, we need a team manager. I have agreed to do it, but I need a wingman." And I said, "Well, Kyle, if you're in, I'm in." And to be perfectly honest with you, I was going to approach the whole thing from the standpoint of trying to get out of doing the dishes again. I figured, "Oh, Kyle, let's do this thing and let's make sure the critical stuff happens, but we don't want to do too good a job. Otherwise, we're going to end up doing it again. It's kind of break a dish when you're doing the dishes. Yeah, you don't get to do the dishes anymore." But Kyle was not having it. Kyle said, "No, we're going to do this. It's going to be epic. They're probably going to write songs about us. And there will never be a better dad duo team manager in youth hockey." I said, "You know what, Kyle, I can get behind that. Let's do that. Let's go for it." And there was never really an official vote. There probably should have been, but I think we nailed it. I think we did.
I think it more so went deadbeat moms like myself who were on the team were like doing this one when they were looking for someone. It's responsibility is not the name of my game. You know what I mean? Like if I get my kid and bring him there, I feel like I've done everything. So you guys, but here's the deal. Had I been involved in it it would have been terrible. It would have been real bad, and you guys killed it. So I'm gonna pretend like I did a good thing rather than shrinking from responsibility of volunteering.
Well, the other side of that too is there was a discussion for our team. Our team was brand new. We were having kind of a parents meeting. Everybody was standing around. We didn't have a team manager yet. Kyle and I were having a side conversation, and when it got quiet, which was odd, and we looked up, and everybody in the group was doing this.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And
And you
gotta
know,
be quicker than that, guys.
Yeah, I didn't even know the game. It was culturally inappropriate.
Yeah.
I slighted.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Tough
There's
break,
only
but-
one time, and oh, sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying tough break, but you guys really you turned it, you made lemonade out of lemons. You know what I mean? Like you guys really you knocked it out of the park. And I think that my hard anti-door signs, anti-gift bags campaign really just kind of sends a message like, don't ask her to be the manager. She's not a prime pick for that. So, but I you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything, So, my beliefs.
there was
I
a
was
few
just
key
gonna-
moments where I realized why moms do this job normally. One of those was the door signs, because when Kyle and I committed to this, like I got fully on board quickly, and I was going to tackle the door signs. I went to Hobby Lobby. I went to actually multiple places to figure out, where do you buy the paper for this stuff? What's the best way to paint these things? I found these jumbo paint markers that were about as big around as a baseball bat. I'm like, yeah, I can totally do this. And then I was approached by a couple of moms that said, you don't really have to do the door signs. We can step in and do that for you. And at first I was like, no. And I caught myself. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. Would you please run with the door signs? I'd appreciate that. And that was a good way to go. It was.
Well, when you say that Kyle has to be quick on these kind of things, there's only one time Kyle's called quick and no one's left happy. But beyond that point, let me switch nicely here, Jeremy, too. So I think we buried a little bit of the lead. What is involved for the listeners out there in being a team momager or manager?
Yeah, my apologies. Much like Corey, he just kind of jumps right into third base without any preamble. So our apologies, Jeremy.
Okay.
Well, he is a baseball guy, so he does like to steal bases and get there quick. But what is involved?
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, what does a momager do?
I don't know if that's an underhanded.
It is 100%.
Yeah, overhanded.
So, okay, it's actually not, because just before we get too far down, my wife commonly serves as a team manager, and many times because of multiple kids, I'll fill her role when she can't be at that tournament with that kid. And because of the job I've done, no brag here at all, but I was granted from the team a cup that says world's greatest team momager. So I have a Yeti that says that.
Okay.
Well, unless I'm mistaken, which is possible, but not often. The first three letters in the word manager is MAN.
Yeah, I never thought
Somehow
about
this thing got all backwards where the moms took over I don't know.
Well done.
Jeremy's bringing
Well
the
done.
receipts.
When Kris Jenner came along, and that's where the change was. I think you
Yeah.
can mark it with that. She really redefined it. So
Yeah.
blame
No.
Kris Jenner.
You have a few responsibilities. Most of them involve keeping people happy. You have a few critical things to take care of. Sometimes that they prove to be more difficult than they should. One of the main things, if you're watching this and you've never been a team manager before, but you think maybe you want to test those waters out, on day one, when you get your schedule and you know when you're supposed to be in a different place that requires a hotel, right away, day one, get on the hotel thing, because you have to realize that there are hundreds of other managers, momagers, what have you, that think, oh, I got time. And if you're one of them, you don't have time. And sometimes even when you're quick, you run into unforeseen obstacles, such as this year we were supposed to play not a tournament, but a kind of a jamboree, we'll call it, with about 4 other teams in a city that didn't realize that they were also having now another hockey tournament, a legitimate hockey tournament, a wrestling tournament, and God knows what else, but something that booked every single hotel around for the next 45 miles away. And there's no place to stay. And so you have to get on that right away. Another thing that you have to do is find some place that can accommodate 50 people at a restaurant, usually on short notice. And half of those individuals are going to be loud and obnoxious, but also loving and cute and, good people generally, except they will be shooting spitballs out of their straws and running around like crazy people. Also, it is a benefit, a side benefit, if that restaurant also has pull tabs. That can be critical. So restaurants are big, making sure that people have a good social environment to hang out in, to socialize, to critique their kids' performance during the game, and just in general, have a good time. And when you get that many people together, sometimes it can be tricky. So you try to keep it lighthearted, make sure that you don't give anybody anything to make them not happy. And that's about it.
I like it. I think it's, you know what though? I like that we're shining the light on this because team manager is a role that doesn't get a lot of credit. But like it's when you think about like the things that you show up for, like a team meal, like the hotel, even like locker room situations figured out. I with my husband coaching a 2014 team for spring and fall hockey, I didn't even know such a thing was roster stickers. Didn't know that was a thing. So I had to figure out that was a thing. And again, I cannot be asked to do these things because I don't like to do them. So that's usually like, do I want to? No, so I can't. But I figured it out. But it is things that you don't take into consideration, and a lot goes into making any of it possible. You guys though did come up with one of the craftier things that I've ever seen. And I'm going to share it. Maybe it's just like a Kyle Jeremy secret, but it was one of the smartest things that I've ever seen. Was when we went to a few restaurants that I don't think otherwise would have sat quite that big of a party, especially in the post-COVID world of like no servers and availability, was taking restaurant orders before and giving the restaurant a spreadsheet so they were able to have it made when we got there. You guys could have sat me down to think about a solution for that all day and it wouldn't have happened. So I applaud you guys. And I think it's a great like problem solver for team meals. So that was amazing. And I was super
I kind of want to take credit for that one and just watch Kyle's reaction.
Do it.
But I can't do that. That was entirely Kyle's doing, and it was brilliant. And the restaurant appreciated it. It's not oftentimes you can bring 15, 20 kids to any restaurant and have the restaurant say, hey, please come back.
Yeah, no, they won't. And as someone who's been a server, they won't do, and like I said, most of these places that we go to anymore, they're running with half of the staff, if that, they don't have it. So those large parties, and in particular, large parties on separate checks, that's tough. I don't care who you are as a server. That is really tough. So and for the kitchen as well, it's not just the servers, the kitchen too, because to get 50 people coming at you in one swoop, it's a lot because most of us, it's not just the player and one parent, it's both parents, younger siblings, older siblings, it's a heck of a group. So that was a killer idea. Jeremy, you could have taken credit for it. And then if Kyle would have like tried to speak up, it would have looked like he was being like,
yeah, it was really
so you could have.
Yeah.
All right.
It would have been the better way to go. You're right.
Yeah. Well, full confession, I did that for two reasons. One, it allows everyone to come in, sit down, have a couple of drinks and not have to worry about anything. And two, given my age, my wife is no longer really interested in looks or clothes or whatever, but she gets very aroused by organization. And so I'm like, look at this lady. Spreadsheet. Boom.
helps the team and it doubles as foreplay. And
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
think that's a win right
Yeah.
there. That's a
Yeah, right? So,
yeah. Hey, Amanda, did you see this spreadsheet that I made by chance?
and I made sure
It's
she
got
did.
a, it's got a pivot table.
That I left out
Hmm.
here on the table.
I made it on Google Docs and accidentally shared it with her every time, sometimes several times a day.
Oh, silly me. I
Yeah.
left it right on the bed.
Yeah.
Was my pivot table showing?
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
but it was nice. Even got a compliment from Coach Andries about how we were able to get in and out of the restaurants in 65 minutes. So again, frees up a lot of time for safety meetings, and yeah, nice way to go about things.
Question
You know-
for the managers, because I have never done it. Do you guys, do you have to negotiate any rates for like rooms and stuff like that? I've always kind of wondered, is it just something that they have up front, because they do the room blocks and there's rates, but do you guys ever have to, I mean, I know I've heard Andrea shared some stories where she did a little wheeling and dealing, and that gal is good at it.
Yes.
Like, she's impressive. I'm bringing her with when I buy my next house. She's coming.
I was just
Some of that is possible. It depends. If it's a tournament in Fargo, for example, a lot of that is predetermined by the Fargo housing people. It's like a whole mafia thing,
right? Yeah.
where you are given the hotel
Totally
to get. And if we're being 100% on this, a lot of times the Grand Forks people get the short end of the stick. I don't expect that to change. And this year, even, we had a very limited selection of where we could stay. So we actually this is some of the negotiation, I guess. I had to jump through several hoops to go outside of the Fargo housing people, which is very difficult to do. And even when people were calling in to reserve their room, the people at the hotel desk, which I think Kyle can attest to, and
Yeah.
I'll let him share his experience, they're very hesitant to go against any kind of a hockey team. Kyle, would you want to share your experience trying to book that hotel?
See, yeah, just to follow up on Jeremy's point there, Jeremy found the rooms, called the hotel directly, and there was some hesitation. So finally, they took my information and said, we'll get right back to you, but we'll hold it for now. And then maybe 24 hours later, got a call back saying this is highly irregular. We usually don't go, we usually don't run contrary to Fargo Moorhead housing, but we'll make the reservation direct for you. And you think it was like Iraq in '95, and like Uday and Hussein were outside the room, like they're like shaking that they the Stotzi was
We don't dare even mention this. You never had this conversation.
They mentioned it several times on the call, like, oh, like
I'm not sure if I can do this, but
in that exact voice.
And it's so funny because it's like we're trying to rent like 50 rooms.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like a lot of business. I mean, we should be telling you what we will pay for this.
Right. I would agree with that. That's why I was wondering if there was any, like wiggle room for negotiating rates and things like that. Because you're exactly right. I mean, when you're taking that many rooms, I mean, granted, I also respect the fact that, hockey teams, I don't know that anybody's like, oh, yay, we're getting a hockey
We want
team.
that business.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, those kids, they're so quiet and respectful.
It does give me the opportunity, though, due to just things that I've done for work. I've stayed in Marriott hotels way too much. Actually, literally, in Marriott's alone, I have stayed a total of over 3 years worth of nights. So I'm a platinum elite lifetime for Marriott. So I do try to use that. I don't think it really matters, but I keep trying because, it makes me feel like a big shot.
That's right.
And they probably are laughing on the other end going, hey, we got another lifetime platinum elite guy.
Get off the phone and go wait for this.
But it's worth a try. That did not work, however, when trying to book for that Grand Rapids, not tournament, but the weekend that we had planned, because the only thing I could find was motels that were 45 minutes away, and they didn't care about Marriott. But this would have been a first as well for me. We would have rented out the entire motel. So, no other guests would have been unhappy.
That is true.
You mean
That might have
you
been
mean
okay.
you weren't satisfied with your Marriott Platinum Elite World Time Lifetime perk of parking near the front door and getting a free bottle of water and popcorn when you get there?
Oh, don't confuse Marriott with those filthy Hiltons.
Oh, sorry.
So
Sorry.
it's a Hilton thing. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Speaking of filthy Hilton, go back to episode 1 and hear all about it.
Dan, Corey, that's a good reach back
Yeah.
Thank you.
versus a reach around.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna make a joke. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
come
make
on.
a joke.
I refuse. Well, and that was okay. So, I also, I don't know if you guys have dealt with this, but when we did a spring hockey tournament, now this was for my younger son's team, so it was 14s, not the 11s. 11s didn't play in that tournament. So, but we went up to Canada, first time since COVID, and booking a hotel. If you think booking a hotel in the States ever has curveballs, this was like a nightmare. We did not know for certain if we were even going to have our rooms when we got there. The Canadian government they were having a refugee situation. And so their government gets first crack at available hotel rooms. So we kept having to call back, and they'd give us 2 more rooms and then maybe 3 more rooms. And then we got an email saying this literally the day before the tournament. There was a situation and you're moving to the hotel across the street. I called the hotel across the street. They're like, nobody told us you're staying here.
Oh boy.
And so it did get sorted out and we all were able to stay at the hotel that we originally were supposed to stay at, but it was like we were going up there with no guarantee that we were staying anywhere. So it was an eye-opening experience because I've never of all the reasons that I've had to discuss with hotels in the United States, it's never been because the government has been seizing hotel rooms. Now granted, I mean, like in this area, I know the different parts of the country, like New York did deal with some the government renting hotel rooms, but yeah, that was really interesting. Canada, that was I've never quite had the level of stress of booking a hotel room that was, or not knowing if we were going to even have one when we got up to Canada. So
We referenced in this episode already 2 totalitarian governments, Uday Hussein and Canada. We should do a flash poll. Who's worse? Corey.
I mean, Canada, obviously.
Right. It's no brainer, right?
Yeah. The correct answer was Canada.
The correct answer.
Yeah. Like, there
Jeremy's
was
wondering,
another
how
answer?
can I scrub my face and voice from this entire podcast?
No, if I get in trouble, I'm just gonna blame it on the Canadian.
Canada's
There
shit.
you
That's
go. Yeah.
super duper.
Well, we've already talked about how Grand Rapids sucks, how Canada sucks, how Paris
No.
Hilton sucks, and the Hilton hotels. I mean,
Continually come for Minot. So
I know a manager with a bad story about Minot. Would you like to share that, Jeremy? Why don't you flash through the crap and tell your story?
I
Pray tell.
don't have too many stories about. I mean, I see a lot. Minot seems to bring out the worst in everybody. I would say, and some of us some of us versions of worse is actually pretty good. The Minot moms, it's just straight soulless evil, black eyeballs, and fangs, and facial hair, which is weird. But,
My interest was piqued till the facial hair part, actually.
yeah.
I just kind of kept stepping it up a little bit.
I mean, come on. We go to a circus to see the bearded ladies. Why wouldn't you want to go to Minot to see the same?
Yeah, that's true.
Fair points all. Fair points all.
Oh.
Jeremy,
Yes.
we would be remiss, though we kind of already know the answer. What we know what you're drinking. Have you moved on to anything else? Are there any other drinks you'd like to plug before I ask the rest of the crew?
Drinks that I would like to plug. Yes, I would. One you probably have not tried. Actually, a brewery you have not tried. Not a fancy brewery. An everyday man's beer. Could be a mow on the lawn beer. It could be just something to have on hand. An alternative. Yes, I might get bad reviews for this, but an alternative to Busch Light, Genesee. We got Jenny the Lager,
Yep.
Jenny Light, and the one that actually I turned Scott Nicola on to Jenny, and he found one that I had not had, which is the Genesee Cream Ale, which is in the green and white can. And so now I have Christmas plans in the spirit of the holidays. For Christmas, I will have a whole cooler full of the regular Jenny, which is red and white cans, with also the green and white Jenny Cream Ale for kind of a Christmas, medley, if you will.
I like it.
I like that too.
Wow.
Corey,
Yes.
what are you drinking?
Tonight, I went back to an old standby. I did get tonight while I was at Happy Harry's, I did grab a Prohibition era Bushmills bottle, but being that that's very, very high proof, I figured I need to accomplish something. So went back to the standby, the Redneck Margarita.
I like it. That was my guess.
I like
Yep.
it too. I had a glass of Moscato and I have another one sitting on my kitchen counter and I forgot it downstairs when I came up here to do the podcast. And then it was 9 o'clock. So it's still waiting for me. And I might be needing it
Why
before
don't
I
you just yell for Matt to get you your drink?
I just
Great
texted
question,
Jess and she
Jeremy.
brought me a refill.
Because Grand Forks Central just went and gave a whipping to the Fargo North Spartans. And so Matt is currently in Fargo. So,
Okay.
and I got a sick kid in one room and then the other one is sleeping. So I have no support.
Kelly, I think we need to work on your North End vernacular. That would be a whooping, not a whipping.
Okay. A whooping.
A whooping.
You can go get your Moscato because I need to ask if you can obviously hear this. Corey, were you also at the super fun impromptu lawn dart tournament played by the light of the Muscatel
Yes.
Subaru, where that's the first time I'd ever had Jenny? So that was me and Jeremy, Scott, Nicola, and Corey played a very windy, very, very windy lawn dart tournament with no
Who won that again? I can't remember.
I gotta have
Muscatel
the Jenny
Subaru.
there.
The light of their business sign was enough for us to play.
Yeah.
You find a way.
You find a way.
Well,
You
Yeah.
find
I'm still fairly certain there was a police officer who had driven just close enough to see what was going on and
moved
then
on.
drove off. Yeah.
To be
I
fair,
think it
we
was
better
a tip of the hat, though, too.
Yeah. Well,
lawn darts, hotels. Was anybody else at that exact same tournament outside when we were playing and a gentleman appeared out of nowhere, took off his shirt, challenged the group? Tom Box is like, let's go. And the guy's like, I'm out.
yes, I was there.
Oh, yes. The meth head guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
making me
He-
jealous, guys. Okay, because I wasn't there, but these are the kind of things that I live for, so I'm a little upset.
Going
That
too
was
long.
actually, that was seriously like, that
That's some
could have
North
gotten
End
real,
behavior right there.
Yeah.
real quick. Yeah. Like, that was
I
a
thought
thing.
you would have ended it quickly, Kelly.
I miss everything good. That's just
Kelly, I don't take this the wrong way. I'm kind of glad you weren't there. I kind of feel like that would have been the gasoline on the fire that,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would have
know.
been like, "Oh, where's this gonna go? Get him!"
Sometimes you throw a tire on the fire and just see how hot she burns.
Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Jamie,
Could've
if
been
you
fun.
could,
Well,
compare-
now we'll never know.
yeah. Next thing you know, the guy's getting stabbed with a lawn dart and it escalated
Yeah.
way too quickly.
And those are pretty blunt tips. So if he stabs somebody,
Kelly stabbed a guy.
yeah,
What a great story.
great weekend.
I sharpened the darts of I sharpened the tips of these alleged darts.
Of the already illegal darts.
Yes. I've
Well-
got a bench grinder, and I'm not afraid to use it.
That's right.
There's a little Texas song from back in the day called What Might Have Been, and that might be the theme of this podcast. Had Kelly been there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to start coming to your guys' tournaments. I'm just gonna send Matt with Jet and be like, well, I have places to be. I have friends. I can't always come watch our kid. Okay.
And I
I'm
think
going
if
to
we
another
had
tournament.
Beth out there,
Whoa,
they could've used-
don't. don't big time us now, Kelly.
No, I'm saying I want to be with you guys.
You'll lower your standards to our level. We understand.
Whoa, whoa.
You
No,
put on
no.
a fancy turtleneck one time, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I told
Yeah.
you guys, it's Elizabeth Holmes now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a tech guru.
Hang on.
when you to circle back to your turtleneck for a second, you started talking about DNA tests. I thought you were trying to compare yourself to Elizabeth Warren. I'm like, man, things have gone off the rails for you, Kelly.
No. I'm just making
Kelly.
it to Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Kelly sits there in her turtleneck. So how did tryouts go for your boys?
Just a hoity prick move. I live on the story. If you could just give me this victory, okay? Let me have something.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Tremendous. So Jeremy, you were a co-manager last year, sort of a Michael Scott, Jim Halpert situation, who is actually the villain of The Office. We'll get into that in another time. You're solo manager now. Compare and contrast for us.
Well, it sometimes it helps to get rid of the dead weight, and just feel like I run so much faster. When I don't have a piano, when I'm not dragging a piano,
I get that,
on
yeah.
my shoulder. But no, so I've gotten a little bit bolder now that I'm on my own. Sometimes, you find yourself in a spot where you have to make decisions. You have to make them quick, and they have to be right. So a couple of examples of what I've done this year, which I think is completely unorthodox for your typical hockey hotel experience, is I said, you know what? We don't need a pool. Everybody's sick of their eyes burning from chlorine. I am. What can we do instead that would be fun? Oh, I know. Let's actually stay at Drecker Brewing in Fargo, who doesn't have to answer. They make their own rules. They don't have to answer the Fargo housing people. So we actually stayed at a brewery, which, if you've never been to Drecker, is a completely different experience than any other brewery you've been to. They have a marketplace, and the hotel's in a place called Brew Halla, which is really a unique experience. You can buy anything from gourmet dog treats to candles. You can eat oysters in the half shell at the wine bar. They've got a wood-fired pizza place. They've got another place that serves, it's a restaurant, but it serves more like food truck fare. And they've got like multiple levels of this thing. Also, this was a first and unexpected treat. The second night that we were there, they actually had what could only be referred to as a rave by people from North Dakota. Yeah. We got crazy.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But the boys had fun. We didn't need a pool. We had the PlayStation. The hotel rooms go up along the perimeter, and you can look down into the courtyard, all three levels, which I was a bit concerned about. But all the kids stayed on the floor they were supposed to be on, which was nice. It would have been Parker that would have been going over the railing for sure.
Yeah, there's always a Parker over under. We know that.
We used the buddy system with Parker. So I'm the manager that said, hey, let's stay at a brewery. That could be cool. And this has not happened yet. It could prove to be the best move ever by a hockey manager, or the worst. Later on, we are going to play in Canada, staying on the US side, up close to International Falls. And the hotel actually has a distillery in it, a very historic distillery. So that is going to be a lot of fun as well.
Jeremy,
now you know why.
Then that's just what happens, I mean, anybody seen Grand Forks?
And now you know why I elected to go
Their parents
with
didn't make
Parker's
it.
team that weekend instead of Cam's team in Minneapolis.
See?
Yep.
Don't
Exactly.
tell
Now
Jess.
you're
Everybody
getting
be
the story.
cool.
That's where I'm coming from. It just doesn't sound terrible. So yeah, but like, also, have you guys noticed that the boys are kind of at the age where like the pool doesn't have the same appeal? And I was kind of wondering when that shift happens, where because I still pack jet swim trunks, but I get told we're not going to the pool, and I'm like, that is fine by me. I didn't know when that shift happened. So,
But keep in mind, the Bantams do love a good hot tub. Like they won't go
oh, so it
swimming
comes
together.
back around. It's just hot tub
Yeah, they
pool.
all
That makes
they'll
sense.
sit in. Hey, this hotel doesn't have a hot tub. We're just gonna go do something else.
That was an extremely accurate impression.
Thanks. I've been around them long enough.
No, but I can hear
They-
that. We're gonna go. Hey, we're gonna go sit in a room and look at our phones with each other.
Yeah.
I see all of the joy in your non-bantam owning faces. Although I think Jeremy's been through these ages obviously before we all did. But
What are you trying to say?
you're older than me. The level of dumbness that will descend upon us is something that's yet to be seen and enjoyed.
Yeah, you can't imagine. My 19-year-old, brand new Marine, has been home now just for a couple of weeks over, the holiday season, and he's already got 3 tattoos. That when he went to boot camp, he had 0 tattoos, and he has 3 tattoos now. It's kind of getting to the point where it's like, hey, where's Tanner? Anybody seen Tanner? Hey, got another tattoo. Check it out.
Military man now, Jeremy. All right, it's
Uh,
gonna happen.
before we go ahead,
the first
go ahead,
tattoo
Jeremy.
was a raccoon holding a Molotov cocktail.
That old chestnut, hey?
Which he did go
Pause for
back and that
dramatic
had flames added to it, so you could tell it's a Molotov cocktail.
And
Before, it
that's
just looked like someone shook up a soda
meaning
and
to
it
you,
exploded.
Jeremy. Why don't you just ask him about it? Funny story, Dad. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I love that kid. That's
Oh,
wonderful.
Also, one more story about that really quick. Kelly, you'll probably be the only one that appreciates this. I told the kids that I was going to be on the podcast tonight, and Tanner said, Tanner's my oldest, said, "Oh, you mean Kelly Moreland's podcast?"
Oh,
Oh,
I didn't need more reasons to love Tanner. I didn't. I think he's the sweetest, most wonderful boy. And I always I feel like even on Facebook that I'm like, dial it in, Kelly, with compliments for Tanner, because I just think he's such a tremendous kid. Like, what kid his age feels like public duty? Like, I just don't, I mean, I don't know where you found him, but if he could hang out with Jet a little bit more, that would probably be a really great thing. So now officially my favorite. It was official before, but now it's really set in stone. I like that. I like the ring of it. Kelly Moreland's podcast. So
Corey, one of us needs to find our own Yoko Ono to put Kelly in her place.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, why is Matt in Fargo when we need him to keep her in control? Jeez.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry guys. It's
I thought the turtleneck was the first sign of her ego getting too big, but it's really getting
lead
awful.
singer syndrome. All right. We know how this goes. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Axl Rose, Steven Tyler. We know how this goes.
He's going to break up the band to have a Chinese democracy album. I mean, for God's sake.
Exactly. There's gonna be some hell to pay. I think we know what happened. Freddie Mercury. All right, it didn't go that well. So
she's going to get into this experimental phase about doing podcasts about raccoons with Molotov cocktails that we just don't want to talk about.
We don't even want to do it.
And with that, Jeremy, being that you have an older kid, before we can circle back to momagers, the foreshadowing I want to do on a hockey podcast is, now that I've had a child that's gone through 2 years of bantams where players can check, right? These kids are allowed to check. Like, there's a level of yelling from the crowd you hear at a usual game, or if there's an accidental check or someone checks someone from behind or these kind of things. But when the kids can start checking and there's full-on line brawls where 5-6 kids are throwing haymakers, that's where you really start to decide which parent is which in the crowd, right? Because then people are getting beat up on the ice. What's your experience having an older child and seeing some of these things coming that maybe Kelly and Kyle are just on the precipice of?
I have to go non-hockey to give you any kind of perspective on this. Because before I was a hockey parent, I was a wrestling parent. I didn't play hockey myself. I was a wrestler. I know the sport. So Tanner was a wrestler since I think first grade, and that was similar to hockey. That was sometimes getting started late. And even when they're little, if you've ever been to a youth wrestling tournament where you literally have kindergartners out there that are wrestling, and they usually have a parent that wrestled. Otherwise, like no sane person would put their kid in wrestling unless you wrestled when they're that little. But it's like you took them. It's like a dog fight. It's like people are gathered around the mat. Everybody's yelling for their kid to win, and it's aggressive. And so
Sounds like a Minot wedding, doesn't it?
exactly, yes, yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Very
Yeah.
similar.
Go ahead.
Very
Or
similar.
annulment.
Shotgun or otherwise.
Yep. But so I can translate that for myself at a hockey game, especially at this age. Like, I'll usually be the loudest one in the crowd, but I'm yelling, "Let's go blue," or something to that nature. When I was a hockey or a wrestling parent in the stands, I was also the loudest person in the stands. But it was yelling more aggressively for my kid to kick the other kid's butt. That wasn't the terminology that I would use, but very aggressive. So I think that when you probably see your kid get into a physical altercation for the first time in a public forum, especially if your kid gets hit first, I can see how it can transform you from the person that didn't used to say much to, attack mode, until you realize that you're probably going to embarrass your kid and yourself by saying too much. So if you don't have any background though with any kind of a physical, combat sport, especially, it can be like a really strange thing to see how people react. With my experience, the first time that Jonah, if he gets punched or he gets whatever, which would be kind of odd because Jonah usually doesn't start stuff like that. I'll probably be like, "Oh, he caught a good one there. Well, let's see what he does."
Be the dad reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the dad reaction. And then you can just leave it to the moms to like be jumping up on the glass, because they've seen it from my not moms, and so they know what to do. But
Yeah.
I just think from my experience in watching Bantam hockey, there is a dramatic shift because we're not just talking about, maybe a kid hit someone from behind, or which I'm not saying is a good thing, but I mean, there are some epic hits that happen. Like we're talking some hits where a guy's coming down from the blue line to the dots and he lays one into your kid and your kid goes a flying, and that might be the last you see of your kid for that game. I just feel like there's a big distinguishment when that factor gets added to the game, and that makes the most sane person. And especially if you add a little alcohol into this, it makes the most sane person a little bit different. And I am not excluding myself from that group at all.
Especially
Well, I think it does make a difference if it's a good hit, but a hard hit, or if it's a cheap shot that could result in an injury. I think those two things are very different. And I think reacting very strongly to a dirty hit that could potentially make your kid miss the rest of their season or worse. Yeah, I'm okay with a strong reaction to that. Not that it's going to change anything. The hits still happen, but I understand the emotional reaction to something like that.
Jeremy, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just
go
gonna say,
ahead.
and Bantams is the worst because Bantams is like puberty, not in puberty. Puberty, not in puberty.
Yeah.
So you can have some big
That's what I
ass
was gonna
boys
say.
sending some little guys through the boards,
Yeah.
at least in high school. Not that there's not, size differences. There definitely is, but everybody's kind of, at least starting puberty, So Bantams, that always makes me a little iffy, especially as a mom who, like, my son's currently one of the little guys. He's not, I'm like, oh, okay, we can get bigger anytime now, because if I see a kid the size of a grown man send my little sweetheart through the boards, it's just not going to go that well. I'm not going to handle it well. I don't have the emotional regulation for that. So Bantams is especially kind of an iffy age for that. But didn't they used to allow checking in Peewees?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of a recent change that
It
they
is,
went
yeah, a much discussed change. I mean, both sides have proponents and detractors, and both make fairly good arguments. But I think where it comes down for me too is the longer they get, the longer they wait to get into it, the bigger the size difference can be. And then, as you know, everyone sort of alluded to, that size and strength discrepancy is such that someone can really get hurt.
That's kind of what makes me nervous is I'm just like, the Bantams have, we already have some size discrepancies on Peewees, but Bantams, it's very pronounced.
Sure. Yeah.
You definitely see that kid is in the full throes of puberty. That kid is not even knocking on puberty's door. So,
Just to circle back briefly, Jeremy, in your experience as a manager, have you tempered your, I guess, enthusiasm in the stands given your position, or do you just let it all out?
Well, I think one thing that I've tried to do is, especially if you get beat by a better team, and you never like getting beat, but I think that when you are the team manager, you do have somewhat of an obligation to, make sure that the other team had a good experience, especially if they're at your rink. Tell them good game, make sure they get their score sheet, and you're representing your program. Just as much as the coaches are. So you want to make sure that you're really cognizant of, how you're interacting with the other team's coaches and their players, and make sure they want to come back and play you again. So
yeah, good points. Good points.
So, Jeremy, that was all too reasonable, and I don't like your answer. So I'm going to transition you into something less reasonable.
Let me have some more beer.
Yeah, please do. So while you're drinking, here's the question I have for you. So when you're a team manager and you are organizing and planning, and you spend a considerable effort on phones with hotels and making meal plans and organizing and getting different things ready, there are two types of parents. There are the parents who want to provide you some assistance by doing something nice to help you. Maybe they make a meal reservation. Maybe they do some door signs for you. And then there's the parents who just want to complain about everything that's been done. How do you handle the second group?
You are really trying to put me in an uncomfortable spot here, Corey, and I love it.
Like the back of a Volkswagen. Like the back of a Volkswagen, uncomfortable.
Yeah, nailed it.
This is how I approach it. The same as I approach anything with work that I do in management, is you pause and you say, okay, do they have a point? Could I have looked at this a different way? How do I make them feel appreciated for wanting to help? And I will take any kind of help. It doesn't matter. I love it. And then what you can do, even if you're getting maybe you're getting some offers to help in something where you've got it covered, or there doesn't need to be any help, trying to redirect to a way, okay, this person wants to be involved, they're helpful, you want to embrace that should be appreciated. How can they help? How can I help them be involved? Because clearly they want to do that, and that's a great quality, and you want that. So all help is welcome. All criticism is fine, and there's probably some things that you can do different or better or whatever, but you don't take any of it personally, because at the end of everything, you're just trying to do what you can do to help out. And if somebody else wants to do the job, they can do it. That's fine. So don't take anything too personally. I've had the luxury, I think I speak for Kyle on this too, where we've got to work with some great parents. There really is we haven't had anybody that I regret that has made me regret being the team manager, except for Corey Irian.
There you go.
That guy's
there
a real piece of work. They broke the mold after him for a reason. Let me tell you. But we've had some great parents, seriously. So not an issue.
I represent the third group, not helpful, but super grateful. Like just I'm like, we're
But
staying
a
where?
good time.
Cool.
A good, you bring the
We're
fun though.
going to eat where? I didn't have to call. Hell
Yeah.
yeah, we're going there. Like
Safety meeting? What time and where?
where are
Let's
we gonna
go.
go? Yep. I'm never gonna make the plans, but I really like being invited. Like so I know there's a demographic like me. Just the not helpful people.
Well,
That
Kelly,
not
don't sell yourself short though, too, because somebody's got to collect the pull tab money and make sure that everybody gets paid out the correct way. I mean,
that is true. That
you're
is
dealing
true.
with people's money. So
I'm willing to do that. So I guess I can't say I'm not helpful at all. But outside of that, not super helpful. But like I said, always grateful because I don't think it's easy, and that is why I don't volunteer to do it.
yeah.
So there's
But
that.
A
no,
better
being a
person.
team manager, I think, is something that you should not be afraid to try. It's really not intimidating. There's a group me where all of the team managers get together on there and ask questions if they've never done it before, and everybody's willing to give you some tips and tricks and whatnot. So and also your dibs, you don't have to do any dibs; they're all covered. So
Oh, that's nice.
that
That
comes in
should be that
handy.
way. That really should be that way because you guys do
That comes in handy.
more
Yeah.
than the required hours.
Yeah.
For,
And if
for
you have a
people who don't know,
spreadsheet,
Jeremy, or
if you
Dibs,
are good enough at this to have a spreadsheet, then you can just be organized and it's not a big deal. It's for if you're a procrastinator, then yeah, probably not going to work out.
Jeremy, help those out who don't know. What are dibs and why are you avoiding them?
I actually like dibs. Fun fact about Jeremy. Dibs are volunteer hours where, in order to make our games happen, we have to have some volunteer efforts to work the scoreboard and to open the penalty box doors and to keep the official score sheet. And you sign up for opportunities, which can be, you have to jump on those sometimes as a parent to be able to get them. But
Are they called
um,
anything different in other organizations? Are we the only ones that call them dibs?
no, everybody calls them dibs.
They're all dibs. Okay.
In my experience, everybody calls them dibs.
So
Okay.
So
I didn't know if
dibs
there's.
is
I don't know.
actually a creation of the sports engine
Oh, okay.
vernacular. So if
Okay.
you use sports engine, they refer to their volunteer hour tracking system as dibs. Whether that was unique to them or not, but that's just an interesting
I always kind of
anecdote.
wondered, if it was something different between programs or how that was, how that came about.
Yeah, I like
I
doing
just
the
don't like
dibs.
how. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I want to hear more about what you don't like.
I was just gonna say I don't like how reasonable and kind you are to the people who disagree with you. Like when I was doing it, if someone said we really didn't like the place where you got to eat, and I said, "Well, you really didn't have a choice. I don't care."
You can submit all opinions to this nice "you go fuck yourself" box.
Exactly.
You just put your opinions right in there, and
Well,
I'll get to those later.
you can make this job a lot more difficult, Corey, by doing it that way.
And I do.
And I choose to do that.
It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Uh, no,
There's a
back to
reason why people don't want to deal with me, Jeremy.
here's my biggest dilemma this year. I like doing dibs. I like working the box because I like playing the music, almost in a very weird way, where I have this app where I've got different types of music for different types of games, different situations, penalty box music. This is like serious business for me, and I get made fun of a lot by my children for shazamming a random song that I heard and taking a screenshot of it so I can make sure that gets on my list. But this year, I've got way too many parents that like doing music. It's kind of cramping my style.
We don't need any help with
Yeah, Cassidy Bina, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
I don't need the
but
chipper dance music.
Yeah. Nobody will
You're-
play East German techno either, and it's bothering me.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, Cassidy Bina is very good. DJ B, as we call her.
Yeah, but I think we described it well on our. If for those who don't know, for our kids, Jeremy assists me with the live broadcast of the game, and he is my color guy. And we described her
Racist.
music style. We described her. Now I'm gone. That's it. No, we described her music as very your toddler woke up at 6 a.m. and you're trying to sleep, but you're playing music to entertain them.
Future
Yeah.
guest on the program, Cassidy Vita.
Cassidy, we actually
Yes.
Cassidy in.
Are we having both Binas on this podcast?
Both Binas will be on. Tony's
Bina
going to
squared?
talk, and Cassidy's going to DJ.
Like it.
Like it. I like it.
And
My
Corey's-
wife prefers Cassidy's DJing to my own. So
Oh,
Corey,
yours
you
was okay.
have to get the licenses for every song she plays on the podcast. So that's your job.
I feel like I've got a fair use exemption, but we'll workshop it and get back to you.
all right.
That's why you're my attorney right there.
He's civil. I'll do criminal because I really want to do a body in a dumpster case.
All right,
No,
let's do it.
he's civil. I'm criminal. I feel like that could be a new TV show.
Listen, guys,
Uh,
I am all for if we want to do a special murder spinoff of this. Okay, I think we all know murder podcasts, their thing, and people love them.
Well,
Kelly,
if I go to
as an aside, I'm reading a book right now about a psychologist who works for an attorney. And so I'm 2 chapters in, and he's been interviewing, female murderers. He is attracted to every last one of them, and that it's rinse repeat. He casts such a wide net. I think it's like me at the University of Regina. Like he's into everybody.
He's
so
got a type.
he's got a type, which is everybody. You know,
There's a lot of guys whose type is crazy. He's not
Yeah.
the only one. You know,
you know what, Kyle, your type is the same test I took in my Class B 9-man school to see if I would make the varsity football team. They're like, you have a pulse? You're on the football team.
welcome to the football team. You're here.
You made the team.
yeah. I got a lot of Facebook friends, Corey. Jeremy, other thoughts on managing?
Do it. If you haven't tried it,
Huh.
give it a whirl. It's not bad. It's actually a lot of fun. Just be nice to people and give it your best shot. And if people aren't happy with it, that's okay, as long as you got most of your stuff done. Book hotels early, find restaurants, try to be nice, create some fun social environments for people to hang out and enjoy the sport and the time. We spend a lot of time together, so you want that time to be, pleasant to the extent that you have control over that. So that's really all it is. And if you invite, like for example, safety meetings before games, it's an excuse to get together, have a beer before the game, make the invitation. If people show up, great. If not that many people do, that's okay. Don't take it personal. Your job is just to facilitate a good time and a good experience for everybody. Most importantly, the kids, and it's really not that difficult. So do it.
Final question here. Safety meeting at a bar or a car bar situation?
Both are acceptable, depending on the weather. You may have a preference. Also, depending on the time you have, if there's an in-between action game, car bar is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
If there is a nearby watering hole that is a fan favorite, it's hard to, you want to support local. So whenever possible.
Stay out of Superior, Wisconsin dive bars. From experience, you just don't want to go there.
That's good advice for any of our future managers that will encounter that area.
It's going to happen. You'll be there.
I may be retiring as team manager though after this year, not due to any one particular thing. It's just, I want to make sure that everybody else gets a chance to, to have the experience. So
when you retire and become manager emeritus, will you wear a turtleneck from the Kelly collection?
One of these.
Truthfully,
Holmes
no.
collection.
That's almost like a mock turtleneck, like when you got it Abercrombie and Fitch, like
No, it's
circa
a real mock.
1998. Is it?
It's a mock neck. It's definitely not a full turtleneck.
Okay.
It's a mock neck. So
Yeah, Kelly, don't be mistaken. They both want to wear a turtleneck right now.
I've got several upstairs. I'm dying to put it on.
yeah,
I do not own a turtleneck.
they
Corey,
are a
come on.
luxury,
I don't own one.
Which would you rather wear, turtleneck or sweater vest?
Turtleneck.
Ooh, sweater vests are making a little bit of a comeback, though.
Nope.
You know?
Sorry.
Turtleneck with a sweater vest.
I was gonna say, I will.
A dickie?
Turtleneck with sweater vest. Yep.
That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
Kyle?
Probably the turtleneck with a chain, but also I want to show everybody my John McClane shirt.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, I like it a lot.
Glorious. So
Where
if
did you find that?
Facebook Marketplace, where I buy everything that I don't find at Spicer Container and Salvage.
That's great.
Nice.
Kyle, stand up again. I want to see that one more time. So
Oh,
it says
Christmas.
Christmas party, ho ho ho.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Okay.
Mofo.
Everybody's favorite Christmas movie.
And
Okay.
don't you ever dare let someone tell you that's not a Christmas
That's
Okay.
film.
fantastic.
The finest
Don't let
German.
Tanner see that sweater.
It could be his next tattoo.
If he gives me a jailhouse
Exactly.
cat, he can have it.
I love it.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, guys. I appreciate it. It's been a blast.
Actually, I had one final question.
Oh.
That Corey, hopefully, if you were looking to do a construction project and you hope that construction project was a breeze, who would you call?
Well,
Corey?
frankly, I'd call Endries Construction Services. With 20 years of experience, they work on banks, oral surgery offices, dental, and any other commercial work like retail space and auto body shops. You name it, they can build it. They can assist from the offer all the way through all phases of constructions, through initial design, through completion. You dream it, they'll make it a reality. Endries Construction Services.
Wonderful.
Well,
Now,
I agree.
yeah, it's just a tremendous outfit, and I think they could help you out, Jeremy, or anyone for that matter.
Duly noted.
Duly noted. Well, listen, this is our final episode before Christmas, so I hope you have a tremendous Christmas, everyone.
Yes, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas too. And I'm just praying it's not a white Christmas. No more snow. I'm okay. The amount that we have is sufficient. I know you guys want your ODRs. I'm just loving this weather. So I'm just trying to hold on as long as we can.
I'm looking forward to a few things. More work on the joint Erie and Fabian ODR Hills Arena rink. So lots of time out there. I'm looking forward to receiving my flannel koozie from Mr. Swanson.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm also looking forward to my in-laws leaving as soon as possible. And then I'm looking forward to having my brother-in-law on who coaches hockey out in California to give us his take on hockey in California. That's who I was talking to before the podcast. He's looking forward to, he's signed up. And I'm most importantly looking forward to, my wife has never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and she's agreed to watch it with me.
That's a wonderful movie.
I'm very excited.
That is. I'm gonna have to ask her how she liked it, because that's a masterpiece.
And just to tell you how much I love this woman, sight unseen, she brought me my Christmas sweatshirt this year that says, "That's a Butte Clark."
Oh,
Without seeing the movie.
Without seeing the movie.
Wow. If you will allow it, Kyle, survey of the podcasters here, favorite Christmas movie.
Well, it's Kelly's podcast. You got to ask her.
Yeah,
Sorry, Kelly.
she's first.
I'm the lead singer. So.
I don't know what I was thinking. Totally
I would probably say National Lampoon's Christmas is my favorite Christmas movie. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that like I particularly love. I have to say, because it's my youngest, Mace, it's his favorite, and I love it too. I like the Jim Carrey version of The Grinch. It's not for everybody, but I quote it. Yeah. I quote it all the time, and nobody ever knows what I'm talking about when I'll go jury duty.
That's a good one.
And nobody ever gets it, but that's probably National Lampoon's or the Jim Carrey Grinch. Those are my favorites.
There's also peak Christine Baranski too.
Yeah. Hate, loathe entirely.
Double hate.
Did you guys see what happened to Cindy Lou Who from that movie?
No.
No.
Yeah, Leighton Meester.
Wait, she's
Yes.
What is the name of her band again?
I should know this. The Pretty, no. Isn't the Pretty something?
Yeah.
The Pretty Reckless.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a departure from Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah. Entirely different Cindy Lou Who, but strangely a good version. I don't know.
Yeah, no, those are my favorites. How about you guys? Favorite Christmas movies?
Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, Ralphie.
Ralphie. Yeah. And Belinda Dillon. You know,
Leg lamp. Love
Yeah.
the leg lamp.
I'm also torn between two. One is the black and white version of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Oh,
with
so
Bobby
good.
Stewart,
So good.
and a very different Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, I love Muppets Christmas Carol. It's such a good one. That's an underrated gem right there.
Yep.
That's a really good one.
That's an every year one for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm torn. I want you all to remember that Batman Returns is technically a Christmas movie, although a terrible one.
I thought you were going
Um,
Die Hard.
Yeah, well, no, I love Die
Oh,
Hard.
Die Hard, Batman, all the
Yeah, but
borderline ones.
yeah, but Christmas Vacation is very high on my list. Christmas with the Cranks is also an underrated Christmas film.
Underrated.
Boy, I'm struggling because there's actually quite a few Christmas movies I really love. So I'm going to go with Christmas Vacation. Final answer.
Corey, have you thought about tying Christmas with the Cranks to Trading Places, also technically a Christmas movie, because of the Jamie Lee Curtis connection without a mirror?
Yeah. Well, I spent the entire month of November complaining to Tony that he didn't have his Christmas lights up and just yelling at him to bring out Frosty from Christmas with the Cranks. Like I would literally call him and just yell at him through the phone, bring out Frosty. We want Frosty. So
Nicely done.
and also since my other friend did not put up many Christmas lights, if he continues to make this mistake, next year a group of us is going to put a sign in his driveway that said "fuck it," and then just put plug in one strand of lights and throw it in his driveway.
Oh, so good.
I will give credit. I had to pick Jet up the other night, and the Aryan Fabian Christmas lights, well done. You guys did a
Thank
nice
you.
job. Those are like a gingerbread house perfect. So I will give props because you guys understood the assignment. So well done. If you haven't, check it out.
There is a certain level that you expect when you pull into the hills in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Corey, be honest. Did you put up Eric's lights?
No, but by putting up mine very early, I did guilt him into it. And apparently this is the first year in a long time he's put quite as many up. So he's not happy with me.
That was where my question came from. But
yeah, look at you guys making each other better. I like it.
And there have been more than a few friends of both children who've come to the house and said the same thing. There's a tree inside your rink.
that's the Defender.
That's right.
We call him Big Buff. If you don't want to run into dust in Buffalo, have your head up.
Keep your head up.
Did you give the tree a stick?
No, but like we've told people before, if you want to get it on the betting line, it's Parker with 1.5 concussions is the over and under.
Coach might have to send Parker a cease and desist.
We proved this weekend we could play without him. We're fine.
I disagree.
No, we need Parker.
We need Parker. All right. Well, listen. Everyone have a Merry Christmas. I have to go flood my rink.
All right.
I have to go clean off my rink, so it's good timing.
Good timing to all. Yeah. Enjoy your Christmas, Kelly. I hope you get a full turtleneck this year. And
thank you.
Thanks to all. Appreciate you being here with us, Jeremy.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good night.